Okay, so I wanted to make this video because I just finished working on this house and I feel like it turned out really good. I normally wouldn't make a video on something like this, but I just kind of wanted to show it off, so I'm gonna do that. Before I go over the house, I want to go over the stuff. So first, I'm gonna start with this. This was my block palette that I actually found on Pinterest initially, and I thought it was really pretty. So I was like, I'm gonna try to make something with that and hope it works. I actually really had no idea if I would even be able to pull it off, so there was a lot of trial and error. Um, I feel like this palette, I mean, it's good. It has a lot of like color, I guess you could say. I wanted to give myself more to work with because I felt like this is kind of limiting. Like, I can mix stuff into this, of course, but I wanted to add like some different lighter variations. So I kind of have like the honey is like very bright yellow, and then this is kind of like a very pale, like off-white color. So I figured it would go well with the honey colors. And then the jungle and the mud are kind of like a little paler, less shiny obviously than the copper, and then they're kind of like pink toned, I think. So I picked those to go with it. Um the gold block, I wasn't sure if I was going to use it, so I kind of wanted it to go with the honey and the or yeah, the honeycomb and then the honey. So I picked it and put it over here because I wasn't really sure if I would even use it anyways. Um, then I have this amethyst block that I've covered in clusters. I really like doing this. I think it looks cool. Kind of from afar, it looks pretty sick, I think. Um, so I wanted to use amethyst in the build. I tend to use amethyst in my builds anyways. I just think it looks really cool, and I have complementary shaders, complementary unbound, so I think it looks even better. Um, this was supposed to be like the whole thing. Um, this kind of C curve shape. I couldn't really find anywhere to put it on the house though, so it just is going to stay over here forever because it didn't look good no matter where I put it, and I'm a little bummed out about it, but you know, I still got the copper and the chains and the amethyst, so like I guess I won, sort of. I don't know. Um, and then speaking of copper, um, I love copper. I am copper #1 fan, and this kind of like teal turquoise color is my favorite color, so I'm biased for that reason. But I really think that the copper gradient as it oxidizes is really cool, and I think it's pretty. Um, so I wanted to incorporate that, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to use lightning rods at any point. I just kind of threw it on there in case, because sometimes I like to use it to be like spikes or like little pointy pieces on the roof. But I didn't. And then this is all foliage and greenery and stuff that I was pulling inspiration from for like colors and stuff that I actually wanted to use around the build and like in the build. I used a lot of azalea and glowberries, and I used a couple torch flowers. Um, but I didn't really use any of these. I just bone mealed the grass and the moss around the house, and I didn't place anything down individually, so maybe I'll do that later. And then these are light sources. I have the soul lantern, I have glowstone and shroom lights. I feel like these look pretty good with the honey over here, especially the shroom light, because the shroom light and the honeycomb block, I feel like, I don't know, they, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but they look good together. Um, so yeah, this is kind of, I set all this up first and then I started building. So I guess I'll go over the outside of the build first. Path, pretty standard stuff. This is the front porch. This is where I use the jungle and the mud. I didn't use it anywhere else because I didn't really intend to use it anywhere else, and I think it turned out pretty good. Little depth to the doorway. I really abuse the hell out of trapdoors and campfires and chains in this. Honestly, I abuse the hell out of all the blocks in this. I just kind of spam them everywhere, so you know, it's whatever. But it's what made it look good, in my opinion. So there's that. I put these hanging planters everywhere, even though it doesn't really make sense for there to be a hanging planter off of the ground, but I wanted there to be chains, so I put chains. And then there's this little gap here that I don't really like. I don't know, like, what I can put there. I usually just leave it open. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of it, though. I don't care. This is the first little roof piece. I've spammed amethyst all over it, and we've got kind of like a blend of the honey blocks, and then there's some glowstone and shroom lighting. Glowberries everywhere. This is the side of the house. Okay, I don't really know what I was going for when I made this side of the house. I just kind of let the blocks tell me what to do, and that's what happened. So it doesn't really make sense when you look at it like this, because like there's so many different things happening here. But if you don't look at it too hard, I mean, you got to look at it, but if you don't pay attention or focus, it works out. So then I built this little storage area back here. This wall is blank because originally I was going to put stairs here on the inside, and then I did this, so obviously stairs don't fit there. Back porch, I did something different with the porch here because I don't want it to be identical to the front. The front is kind of like popping out at you more, like this is the entrance, and then the back is just kind of like whatever. Same thing with the hanging planters, glowberries. This is the other side. This side specifically, that you can see there's like this little pop out here where there's like this little bump out. I wanted to make it a little asymmetrical, but I didn't want it to be too big, because then it was blocking my windows and the roof didn't look good. So this is as like much as I could get away with. So it looks a little strange, but again, if you just go really far away and you don't really pay attention to the details and you just kind of look at it, it looks all right. So yeah. Also the windows aren't symmetrical, but again, you're not supposed to notice that. So yeah, and then up here, this is just a tower. There's literally like nothing in here. I used some gold blocks up here and up here. They ended up blending pretty good, so I'm happy that I was able to use those. I don't know how like realistic it would be to build this in survival, because that is a lot of gold, but then again, gold isn't like super rare, so it may not be that hard to actually incorporate into a survival build. And then I used a little bit of calcite up here, just a touch. I really like calcite, so I gotta use it somewhere. And then, yeah, I think that's the outside. I've never built with cherry or like terracotta or mangrove wood before. And speaking of mangrove, it kind of jumps out at you in this. It's very stark against the terracotta. But I think it I think it looks pretty good for that reason, actually. Um, so I guess I'm gonna go in now. And front entrance. I put lanterns everywhere. I just like lighting. I think it does a lot of stuff for building. I think it carries a lot of weight. And as I was saying, I really abuse the trapdoors, so they're literally everywhere. Trapdoors and barrels and lanterns and spruce. It's kind of my thing. And then this is the kitchen. I tried to get a lot of like the functional blocks in one area. So we've got like the brewing stand and the furnaces, and then some of our other stuff. Just for the sake of like consistency and cohesiveness, I put 3 regular furnaces here. I didn't put any other variants. And then the rest is all just decoration. A lot of decoration. I've got these 1x3 narrow little arches, and then there's another one here. Well, it's not really 1x3, it's like 1x5 or something. This is like a little dining / seating area, which isn't practical in Minecraft, but I needed something to fill the space, so that's why this is here. And, you know, a barrel for storage. This is the stairway. It goes up in a spiral. This is another little, like, brewing, crafting area, bookshelves, kind of like a little library. And then this is just a little decorative area over here. I actually feel like if I stand like precisely right here and look down here, this is like my favorite angle of this specific hall. I just think it looks so good. And a jukebox. I like never really do anything with these, so I was like, where can I put this? And I put it right there, and it looks good. So that's the downstairs. Going up, this is the first landing. I had no idea what to do with this, so I spammed azalea and moss, and I think it turned out alright, so that's that. And then this is the other landing. Very simple little like book nook, which isn't, you know, what's the word, feasible in Minecraft. You're not gonna sit here and read a book in Minecraft. You can't do that, but I don't really care. It looks cute, so that's the whole point. I guess I'll go in here. This is the first bedroom. Amethyst. Probably shouldn't have put one amethyst there and then another up there. Whatever. Storage. The pots, I think, are cool. They make a cool sound, and they're cool for decoration, and you can actually cram things in there, so whatever. Pretty simple. I really like what I did with the paintings, where I just did a 1x1 on top of each other to make kind of like a unique 1x2 or 2x1, whatever. We go in here, and this is the other bedroom. I tried to do like a mushroomy type theme in here, mainly just with the mushroom blocks. And that's pretty much the bedrooms. Very simple. I didn't want to like overdo it. There's not really a lot you need to put in here anyways. And then the last thing is upstairs in the tower, which is really nothing but just some barrels for storage. Like, I don't know if you want to put diamonds in there or something. I didn't really know what to do with this, and there's not really a lot of space, so I was like, I'll just put some barrels and call it a day. So that's what I did. This tower is more just for aesthetics anyways, so it looks cool from the outside. And if you really want, you can look out this window or something. I don't know why you would want to do that. And that's pretty much the whole house. I mean, it is the whole house, so. I mean, I'm proud of it. I think it turned out better than expected. It's a little messy and chaotic, But I kind of like that vibe and I kind of like that energy in builds anyways. So I think it all worked out in the end. Um, yeah, and I guess after this, I'll put some pictures for where I pulled the inspiration from. I got them all from Pinterest, of course. Where else would I go? But that is pretty much everything.